everybody, and welcome. We are back for another Tuesday night show. I have my co-host Julian, and I am joined by Tiffany and Danni, both who have been on, and they've been on with each other before too. So thank you to both of them for coming. I am going to go ahead and let them. Oh, Danni, you're in the hot seat, by the way. I forgot. We were so busy talking. Okay, here's Danni.
Oh, well, I am Danni Ackerman. I am the Niche Lady. I have a YouTube channel that I put out content every single day. Color me crazy. And I love to thrift and teach other people how to do this awesome reselling lifestyle.
Perfect. Here is Miss Tiffany.
Hello, I'm Tiffany. My channel on YouTube is Thrifting Vegas. I also have an eBay store and a Poshmark store. And you guys are first to hear this. This is breaking news. My husband just started a YouTube channel, a TikTok, and an Instagram for our German Shepherd puppy Bear. He has his own stick now. So I'm going to be linking that channel on my YouTube, and I think it's already on my Instagram. So that's exciting.
Yay.
You know,
that is
I
exciting.
wish Bougie hadn't heard that.
It's like, I need my own
new
TikTok.
The new trend. All right. Richard beat Duncan tonight with the first question. What tip or advice would you give to someone that has been selling for 1 to 2 years and they want to start getting higher profit items to sell?
Oh, hot seat means I go first, huh?
Oh, yeah.
You go first.
So I would say after 1 to 2 years, you kind of know your niche. You know what you like to sell. You know what's selling. So I would start looking within your niche for now, what are the higher profit items, and kind of be on the hunt for those. You know, I don't know. It depends. Are you thrifting? Are you buying wholesale? Like, how are you sourcing, and what are you able to find that's in a higher profit bracket? But I would just like hone in on what your customers want.
Yeah, absolutely, Danni. That's exactly what I was going to say. I would add, though, maybe if you've been sourcing at thrift stores or garage sale, take it up a notch and try estate sales, try antique malls, try to build relationships with other thrifters, because their niche might not be your niche. And if they come across some higher end items that they're not interested in, they can give you a call and say, hey, so-and-so has this. Are you interested? So that's always a good road to take.
Yeah, I'm like at the 2-year mark, maybe at full time, maybe 2.5. So this would pertain to me. I would make sure that you have the money to do it. Like, you actually have that capital, the working capital. Go ahead and start purchasing higher dollar items. Then also, like, auctions are good. A lot of high price items go in auctions, and you just got to have the money to buy it and have the willingness to do it, because it's hard sometimes to spend like $1,000, but it's worth $4. But that $1,000, at a garage sale, you can buy a whole garage sale for $1,000, right? So, there's a big difference there. And it's a lot of mindset stuff on that too. So, but definitely a different way to source, because I would say if you're trying to find higher end items, you have to source at higher end places.
Yeah, I would say that. And I would say, I saw somebody say study. They are right. Like, I've been doing like my research videos on the higher end items, and I'm just using like a blanket search for one item, sorting solds from highest to lowest. You learn different brands. Like, a lot of these I don't even know. Most of my higher end I find on auction. And that was actually like at camp, we went over this. If you're not finding higher dollar the way you're sourcing, you need to change how you're sourcing if that's what your goal is, because if you're not finding where you're going, you need to go somewhere else or do a different sourcing method. And Julian's right. And I will tell you, I have noticed that you can't necessarily get the profit margin that you get on the lower. So I'm used to 10 timesing my money on the lower dollar, but I might only 2 to 3 times my money on a higher dollar. So you definitely have to pay up more, and that capital is important then. And also your mindset of you're not going to get 5 or 10 times your money. You might only get 2 or 3, but the dollar amount is going to be a lot higher. So just, it definitely is a different mindset and a different way of thinking. And you got to kind of flip that switch.
And you can mix it up too. I mean,
yeah, like I do. I do both. Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
I just paid up for a piece of Van Briggle the other day that I'm not going to double my money, but I'm going to make a really good margin.
Yeah. And that's a lot of what I've been looking at. Like some of them I pay more than my profit will be, but I know they're going to sell fast because they're rare. Not many. And that's a really hard one for me to swallow. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a quick $100, $150. And, you know, me wants to know, excuse my grammar, guys. As a beginning seller, should I invest in a thermal printer versus my HP printer I already have?
Yeah. So when you're beginning, like I would say, do what you can afford. Like some people can afford to go all in and start with what they want. But if money's tight, I would rather see you put your money into inventory than put it into a thermal printer. And then as you like grow your business and you've got steady sales and you can see the value of now no longer printing, you know, from the HP, then work yourself up to I prefer the Rollo. That's my like life-changing printer. But yeah, don't feel the pressure of like, oh, everybody else is using that. That's what I have to have. If it's not in your plan right now, just don't pressure yourself.
Danni has a great point. However, when you're paying, you know, $50, $60, $70 for one cartridge of ink, and, you know, you might be using your printer for other things as well, the Rollo thermal just, it pays for itself so many times over because there's no ink required. It's completely thermal, which means that you don't put cartridges in it, you don't put ink in it, you just print away, or you have to buy the labels. And if you have a commercial UPS account, you can get the labels for free. So I would say, you know, definitely that would be a must for me.
Yeah, the word beginner, I don't know if like beginner means that you're just selling like 1 or 2 items a week, or you're like beginner, like you're selling like 10 to 20 items a week, then that would change my answer. Like if you're only selling like super like limited items, like 1 week, 2 week, now your HP is going to work fine. Put it in inventory when you can, just buy a Rollo or Dymo. But if you're doing like some sort of volume, then I would think that you need to just look at, well, I spend, like you said, 50, 60 bucks in ink, you know, a Rollo or Dymo is what on the used market, 250, 300. So that's not a lot of ink to get that back. So I would definitely, I am team Dymo. And I love it.
That's just because we got them cheap. I bought mine and Julian's.
That thing is a workhorse.
Mine and Julian's off of Facebook Marketplace for $80, but I've had no issues with mine. Nope. I say thermal. Look on Facebook Marketplace. I don't think it's necessary, but if you're noticing you're having to go get those cartridges, that would definitely be an indicator that it's time to go get one. But before it's time to go get one, watch Facebook Marketplace in your local area for Dymo and Rollo. I'm not team either. I'm team cheap that works good. That's what I am. I have the Dymo and I got Julian the Dymo because those are what I found for $80 on Facebook Marketplace, you know. So I would start watching on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and look for one that you can find cheap. But if you start noticing you're spending a lot on ink, I would buy one if there's not a used one. Richard stole Duncan's question. So Duncan's question is, how was camp and what were the highlights? Camp was excellent. It was really good. We had a parking fiasco because we had 5 spaces for like 20 cars. It actually was worked out pretty easily. We had to move 6 cars to another neighborhood. But now if I use that house again, I know that is an issue and can kind of get with the property manager up front. And the property manager did give us the solution that we used. And other than that, honestly, it went very, very close to what I planned. Minus I spent way more on food, and by way more I mean thousands more on food. So I'll probably change up food a little bit next time. I just wanted it to be like really, really nice. And I think everybody's like, no, you're doing too much. Like people that were there were like, Kat, you don't have to do this. So it's just a learning experience and figuring out like what I need to do. But as far as presentations, they had like I think 12-foot projection screen. It was giant that my slides were up on. It was absolutely amazing. George's presentations were so informative, and he brought really cool props, and Richard did his on retail arbitrage, and it honestly, I don't know that it could have went better than it did. It was just a few learning things, and yeah, it went very, very well. Duncan wants to know from all of us, are you working over Easter break on your eBay store, or are you putting it in time away?
Wait. What's this word break? I don't know this word.
What does that mean? What is that?
I mean, it falls on a weekend. It's kind of a break anyway. Yeah, no, we're plowing through.
Yep. Same, plowing through.
Yeah, I will be at church on Sunday. After that, doing the same thing.
We will probably be Easter egg hunting, and then I will be working because I have been gone from home a lot. I will be training a new lister tomorrow, and yeah, I will be back on. I haven't listed in over 2.5 weeks, and it's bugging me. So like all that's been going up is Harley pins, and they're selling great. And I meant to tell Julian this earlier. I listed one last night that sold 2 weeks ago for $285.
Wow.
And I was like, yes, this is exactly what I've been waiting for out of this lot. And I told my daughter, because she did the listing, she's like, what? So yeah, and I looked on WorthPoint and found 2 other of that exact pin that sold for over 270. So I'm excited about that, but I'm really excited for me to get back listing because I might not like doing it a lot, but I do like doing it. And I honestly, I miss listing. I miss listing.
Hey, Kat,
All
there's
right.
something when we were
Go
talking
ahead.
about the beginner and the printer thing, I totally forgot. Is beginners, you don't even have to print from your printer. You can just take the QR code to the post office and have them.
Oh yeah, and they'll
it
print
for you.
them. Yeah.
Forgot
Yeah, that's
about that.
true. Yeah. Yeah, and that wasn't available when I started, so I've never I always forget about that. Question 3.5, Duncan, are you trying to get 4 questions in? Is that what you're telling me? What are your top 2 sales on eBay for the week? I'm gonna have to go look.
Me
Oh,
too.
I am listing again, which actually it feels good. It feels good to be listing again and selling stuff. I sold some lint stymist colorways thumbprint mugs, which look fairly plain. So they're like a salmon color with a blue interior. They were just in the mug section. I think I paid like $1.99 for the pair. I sold them for $50 on a best offer. And I also sold a Le Creuset butter dish for $45.
Nice, Danny. I sold a completely beaded purse, entirely beaded, including the handle. It was actually to one of my subscribers, Amy. And it was gorgeous. Calla lilies all over it. And I also sold a trio of elephants. They were on concrete stands, 3 of them in descending size, silver tone elephants on top. The purse, I believe, was close to 100, and the elephants 130, close enough. So I paid up for both of them, but and they did sit a while. I think I had the elephants over a year, and I know I've had the purse over a year. So long haul items, but well worth it.
I finally sold one of my most expensive golf sets. It was a Tiger Woods Masters Week, so golf stuff selling. It was a forged Tiger set, Nike. It was older. It was kind of beat up. Still went for $325. If you ever see the Nike set with the TW on it, definitely pick it up because they're worth a lot of money. And even if they're beat, because they were worn out pretty good and all needed grips and stuff, so still decent there. And then I think on my next video or the video after that, I pick up these little lighters, about that big, and they're called I am, then the word Corona, like I guess you could say the beer or anything else. And I've never noticed these. They're actually pipe lighters, and they're really cool. They like do this little thing. You pop it open, it has a little pipe cleaner on the bottom. And one sold for $145 in like 30 seconds, and then one sold for $75 in like 5 minutes. So, and they weren't underpriced. That's what they go for. Some of them go as high as like $500. So definitely a little boldo there. I didn't know what I bought when I bought it. Don't get me wrong. I had no idea it was worth that much money. I bought them for $1. And when I got home, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So
Nice.
This is nice. Yeah. I sold a 14 karat Omega slide I got from an estate buyout. I started on auction at $50. It went to $125. I showed that one yesterday. It was only like that big. I paid again $5. It went $5. And then I sold a Swarovski 2002 ornament for $133. And I paid, I think, between $30 and $40 for that one. But that one was still a good profit. And that one sold in about 2 months. And then the slide was on an auction. Miss Patty, is there an update on the girls from the school bus crash and how much money did we raise? I wrote the school. So if you watch my video from yesterday, I wrote the school a check for $2,500. So we raised $1,180 here. And then Clara from List Perfectly matched us dollar for dollar. She is amazing. And then I got a few afterwards. So the total was $2,500. And from what I am told, one of them probably is going home this week. And the other one, unfortunately, is going to be in there for a few months. Her injuries are a little more complicated. And there is a clip in the video yesterday from the school's principal and dean to all of you that donated. They made a video. They wanted to personally thank you. So if you watch yesterday's video, you will see them. We recorded them, and their person recording hit the button and turned it off. So I actually had to call them and be like, I don't have a video. And they redid it and they sent it to me. So $2,500. I did tell them if stuff gets worse with the last girl in the hospital to let me know, and I would bring it to you guys again. I'm sure nobody minds. So I did give them my card, and hopefully things will keep progressing. But one of them is getting ready to go home at least. Miss Charlene, and she did clarify, and I don't know, since Danny's in the hot seat, if she knows. So she's talking about eBay with a store fee. If the fee is deducted each calendar month or every 4 weeks from the first day that you start your store.
That's a good question. You know, I have never looked. I have never kept track of that. That's a good question.
I think it's on the same day. I could be wrong. Maybe some people in the chat will say, and Charlene too, I know you're just starting. I don't recommend getting a store until you have over 250 listings.
Yeah.
I
give a little different advice on that. I say
you think they should get, and I mean, go ahead. No, that's why I do the panel shows, because all of us do everything differently. So like, what do you suggest?
So I say, if you're going into this to make it a business and do it, and you're going to market, you want those categories right up front. Otherwise, I mean, you can always go back and take those 250 listings and go do the work and put them in there. But I'm kind of like, I like that fresh, do it right from the start thing. So if you're like me and you like that, then start with the $5 a month starter store so you get those categories.
My internet is going wonky, so I'm going to switch as soon as I get my hotspot on here. And so for me with the store categories is I started with my own, and then I do such a variety. I ended up reverting back to eBay's categories because I had like 50, like I had almost as many categories as eBay, I feel like. And I was like, forget it. And I undid all of the work, and I did a lot of work on it trying to make my categories. I undid it all and put it back to eBay's categories because I was like, I can't do this. Vicky is asking, how does promoted listings work? I did 3% even though they suggested 7. Does it get my merch seen more often?
You know, I wish we had more inside data on if you do lower than what they say, is it going to help your listings? And I think there's so many variables at play, because it's going to depend how many other sellers have the same keywords that you're using. And we know that, you know, people use keywords on something that isn't the same item as what you have, and conditions are not the same. So for me, the promoted listings it's been a big thorn in my side since eBay came out with it. And I'm kind of a rebel. So I try very hard not to use them unless I have a really competitive item. So it's one of those things, you have to look at your own sales data. You have to test it. You have to see, okay, I'm doing 3%. Is it making a difference? If I lower it to 1%, does it change anything? And that data you do have and you can look at. So it's really each individual seller has to look at their own numbers and see what's working in their business.
I agree with Danni. I only use promoted listings in the event that I have a really competitive item and there's lots of them listed, and I feel like my listing is going to get lost in the shuffle. I believe if you use a percentage that's lower than what they suggest, you still get put on the first page, but you will be below those who have chosen a percentage that's higher than yours. So in this instance, if somebody chooses 10, the 10 will go first, and then 8, and then 7, you know, it'll go down. So you'll probably still appear on the first page, but since you did lower than they're suggested, those that chose a higher percentage will come first. But if there's a lot of listings, using the promoted listings will help. But in the event that you just have a one-off item, one of a kind, like a lot of cats listings, they're just one-off, nobody else has it. There's really no point in using promoted listings because it doesn't give you an advantage, because when somebody searches for your item, it'll be the only one anyway.
Yeah, I have no idea, to be quite honest with you. I ain't got a clue. There's a lot of speculations out there and stuff. I actually have no idea. I'm sure, I don't know. I can tell you what I do is that my whole store is basically at any point in time is kind of all promoted between 3 and 5%. I haven't promoted anything, like I do it all bulk. I don't do it per listing. And I might go like 2 or 3 weeks without promoting anything that I just listed, let that stuff kind of cycle through. And then I'll go bulk edit everything real quick and just promote it 3 or 4% or something like that. And I kind of switch it up, but I have no idea.
And I laughed when Tiffany said a lot of one-off. Like me, I promote every single item, and I promote high. I promote it suggested plus 3% because I'm about getting the volume. I buy very, very low, so I'm okay paying that additional percent. Plus, I look at it as Poshmark charges 20%, which I sell on there, and even promoting higher, I'm still below my Poshmark fees. But it depends on you. I have heard that 5% and higher gets you pushed out to Google from eBay. So I do try and make that a point when I tell people. I just and just because I promote them all doesn't mean they all sell promoted. They do not. They can still sell, like natively where people are clicking on the unpromoted items. But for me, I just promote it all and promote it all. And now, like some stuff, their suggestion might be 3. So for that stuff, I'm only promoting at 6%. But I will tell you, jewelry, and I'm getting back into jewelry. Jewelry is very, very oversaturated. And when I did jewelry before to see regular sales, I had to promote it 15% because there are hundreds and thousands of people from overseas competing that are selling way, way cheaper than I was. So jewelry was one category that I had to promote really, really high. Miss Diane, for the member events, I would check the calendar. YouTube is not great about alerting you about the members only things, and mine are pretty set. Like the first Monday of the month is eBay store reviews. Our sourcing is every other Saturday. And then my shipping live is every other Monday. So once you know those times, you can set a reminder and then check in the community tab or the membership tab, and there will be a link there. And I typically post the day before if I need info from you. So like for eBay member store reviews, I would post on Sunday asking for stores. For sourcing, I post on Friday asking for zip codes. So yeah, that member calendar I put out last week for the whole month of April, I would just jot those down or throw reminders in your phone, because YouTube is not the greatest about notifying about the members only stuff, unfortunately. I don't know if any of us really do a lot of toys. Diane is asking, is it better to lot toys versus individual listings such as Barbie stuff?
That's one of those questions that's it's a little too vague, because it's going to depend on the toy. It's going to depend on the Barbie. So this is my thing with niche. It's like, once you know something like that, you're going to know whether that Barbie you have is going to bring you the profit margin that you want if you list it individually versus lotting it up. And for me, the reason to lot things up is to give you that profit margin that makes sense to deal with that listing.
That's a great point, Danni. For me too, the reason that I lot things up is so I'm not spending a whole lot of time listing onesie twosies that I'm not going to make enough money on it to make it worth my time. With toys, I don't have a whole lot of experience, so I have a little bit. Sometimes people want to buy a collection, like if there's like a series of McDonald's toys, for example, they want to buy the whole collection. So in that case, absolutely. If you have the whole collection, list it as the collection. But like Danni said, if you need to boost the profit margin, absolutely lot them together. But be careful that you're lotting like things, because you don't want to put your buyers off by having a lot of things where they say, oh, I'd like that, but I don't want all that stuff, so I'm going to look somewhere else.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I was going to say. It's basically, it's kind of little. I would do the same thing as like with tools. I just bought a whole bunch, and I picked out the ones that were worth like 15, 20 bucks. And then I listed those separately. Then I lotted up like items, like all sockets, all wrenches, all screwdrivers, and then did them in lots. So you're not listing $1, $2 items, and you have a whole bunch. You just lot them up, boom. And toys would be the same thing. Just make sure you research. Toys would be one of those things that I would probably spend way too much time researching, because I feel like I see some things sold on like Instagram, like this big. You would, it sells for like $50.
Brandy, my reseller treasure. She sold a Barbie shoe for like $30. One shoe. And she is who I would recommend you follow if you are doing Barbie. Her name is My Reseller Treasure on YouTube and Instagram. She sells like one Barbie outfit for $200+. Like Danni was saying, yeah, she is like blown me away with her solds. I see them on Instagram. I'm like, find somebody that knows Barbie stuff and watch and learn, and you need to research, because it would suck if you're selling a $200 shoe and a $20 lot. So it depends on what Barbie stuff you have and what you're selling. And I think that's with every category and with everything. And for me, I kind of go with like what Julian said. If I have a lot of the same thing, I'll list the $15+ ones and I'll lot up the cheaper. The Harley pins are the exception, because I'm having my daughter list them. So I'm not researching them. So I'm having her list them all individual. So some are $9 or $10. But like the one I talked about earlier, one of them's worth $285. So she just lists them singly, and then I research them and price them. But typically for me with lots, if I'm doing the research, I would lot up the $10 items that are similar, and the $15 would go by themselves. Amanda, drink wine. Am I telling you to drink wine, or is that your last name? $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Here is your dolphin. Super chat. I appreciate it. And I don't know if anybody else does the vintage linens and needlework like I do. Kathy's asking, how do you price things such as the needlework and vintage linens?
I mean, I'm going to go back to my niche thing. Is like when you know what you've got. I mean, I don't know. I know linens enough to know what to buy, and I usually sell them in my live sales so that I don't have to worry about using the correct terminology because I'm interacting and people can set me straight. But if you know vintage linens, if you know needlework, then you're going to know what's valuable, what's not. You're going to know how to research the pricing and use the right words and things like that. So it's really about knowing what you have and then researching like items, just like anything else.
Absolutely. I sell stitchery and needlepoint on eBay. And what I like to do is just list it high and take best offers. And best offers will tell you where you need to be. So so that's what I like to do. I'll wait maybe 24 hours to see if I'm, in the right ballpark when I'm getting offers. And then I'll take the best offer I get.
I sold my first needlepoint the other day, or needle, whatever you call it, and I used like the first little word, and that was it. And then I put exactly what it was, and it sold for $15, and I was excited. That is my experience when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I do them a lot, and I don't look up like items, or I do, but not with like the handkerchiefs because I kind of know what I can get for them. And like basic ones, I do $10. And then if they have cool designs, I do 15. Really, really cool designs are like all four corners or neat edges, I'll do 20. And there are a few I'll do 25. So I think after you picked up a few, you can figure it out. But my big thing with that is price it where you would be happy. Like, and I might search the subject matter, like if it is an animal or a souvenir one for a location, and see what other stuff from that location is selling for, because some will sell high. Like I've had ones from like Niagara Falls and things like that. And you'll see, like I see some locations, their souvenirs sell really low. And then in that case, I would price them low at like 10 to 15. But most needlepoint, you're not going to find an exact comp. So you're going to have to search for things that are like it. So like a handkerchief floral with a scallop border. And then I'm going to sort highest to lowest because I want to see what people could get for that and then determine. And then my end all is if I paid $1 and get 10, I'm still making a good profit. So I don't want to overprice so stuff doesn't sell. My goal is to sell stuff. But if I have amazing stuff, I'm going to price it high and let it sit. And by that's just with time. Like Danni was saying, like I've just done so much of it. Like I'm going to show you guys because it just happens to be sitting here. Like this corgi pillow, this will probably be one of the first things I list. Most of these have only sold for $50. I'm going to price this at $150, and I would almost put money that I will get it.
Don't let my daughter.
And it's just like amazing work. And it's a little more elaborate than the ones that have sold for $50. So I'm going to price it at $150. It's the only one like it. And if it needs to sit for 6 months, then so be it. I got it for $3. So, Miss Pomay, where can I get help identifying an item? I tried Google Lens and Google search the internet, and other people looked. I don't know where else to look.
So, I'm not a big fan of using Google to search comps for my eBay sales. I tend to stay on eBay and I search souls, and I sort by highest because I want to see what's the best this has brought in the last 90 days. And then I search what's active to see what the competition is. If I can't find something on eBay, then I'll go over to Google to see if I'm identifying it wrong or something. But I see a lot because I have a Facebook group and we do a lot of identification work in there. And a lot of people are just using Google and not going to the marketplaces where this stuff is actually being sold. And that's truly where you're going to get your comps anyway. Because that's where you can get the sold information versus just what something is for sale for. Big difference. But a lot of times what I find is people are putting too many keywords in to find the thing. Like, I don't have an example here, but start with the fewest words you can do And if you get too many results, then add one word at a time to pare it down to try to find that thing. But if you put exactly what you think something is, you may have the words wrong, and that's why you're not finding it.
Absolutely, Danni. I, like Danni said, I go to eBay first, and I also go to Poshmark to look things up. And it really depends on the reason you're trying to identify the item. Are you trying to identify it for sale, or for your curiosity, or something you inherited? You know, because it makes a difference if you're trying to find out what it's worth to know what to list it for. And like Danni said, I'm assuming what you're trying to find doesn't have a mark and it doesn't have a sticker. So if it's a clear vase, you'd say clear glass vase, and then maybe one characteristic, etched or square bottom or fluted or swung. So again, like Danni said, get as many results as you can without eliminating what it could be. Recently, eBay has brought back their camera. So I'm really excited about that. So now you can take a picture within eBay with your camera, and it'll search eBay results. I really miss that, especially when I was in the thrift stores, knowing whether I should pick something up or not. But that tool is invaluable to me, and it's actually even more valuable to me than Google Lenses. I only go to Google Lens as a last resort.
Yep. Someone asked what the name of my group was. It's Niche to Profit for Online Sellers.
I've been finding I've been using a ton of WorthPoint lately. Like my thing, how I do is I do eBay, and then almost I will now check WorthPoint just to see if it's like, if I can't find it on eBay, then I usually go to WorthPoint. If I can't find it on WorthPoint, then I go to Google. If I can't go to Google, then I hit the other platforms, Poshmark, and Mercari. And after that, I just list it and I go the really high, super, super high, like ridiculous, like $1,000. And then not really 1,000, but no, that's usually how I go. That, and I definitely take, Google Lens is helpful for me when it comes to patterns on glass and stuff, because I don't know any of that. That does help me there. And I have yet to use the eBay camera again. Is it good? Is it still good? Okay.
See, and I'm going to go opposite and say I go Google Lens first. For me, the eBay picture one I found, and I haven't used it since it's back. I have not used it since it's back, but previously it didn't work great for me. But it would help me identify, like I had a pallet of Vera Bradley bags, the patterns, it was excellent for. So I think the main key here is if you don't know what you have, like at all, then you wouldn't know what to type in. And I would say if you're new, don't pick up something you don't know what it is that you can't research. Now, if you get it in a lot or something, that might be a little bit different, because like I buy lots and end up with all kinds of random weird stuff. But I would, again, try and find something similar if you can't find it. But if you guys are hand picking at thrift stores and stuff, if you don't know what it is and you can't find it on your phone in the thrift store, leave it there if you're new, because you could be throwing a lot of money away at stuff that looks cool to you and then you can't find it. So you're researching and then it never gets listed, and it's just like a vicious circle. Like me, I'm comfortable enough. I could probably price anything I pick up. I might not get what I want, and I kind of covered this at camp too. If you paid $5 and you get 25, you made a good profit. If they make 200 because they have more knowledge than you, good for them. Good for them. You got your 20. They know more than you, and because of that, they can make more. You still made your money, but you're not going to make anything if it's sitting there not listed. So be careful. If it's in a lot, then you might just have to describe it best you can, list it where you'd be happy getting it. If you think it's amazing, list it high, like Julian said, and then you'll see if it's selling or you get offers.
Also, like going to Instagram, Facebook, that allows you to be like, groups that allow you to post
it in
things
the
like
groups,
that.
like Danni's group, and
stuff
post it and ask people.
Because somebody knows.
Yeah, for sure. I saw a member. Yep. John K became a member, and then I saw we have a super chat too. So let's grab those. John, thank you. Our next members live will be Saturday. We'll be sourcing for $9.99 members, and then Monday will be shipping. So here is your dolphin.
Welcome to the flipping family.
And then Hanford Findings. Thank you all. Love the needlepoint. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite that I found, that corgi. And it's funny, Dale Flippin' Fiasco was with me, and she had looked at him, and I'm like, how did you miss this pillow? I was glad she missed the pillow, but I was like, how did you not grab this? So yeah, there's always stuff, guys. Like, that was two of us that resell in the same store, and she had walked right by it. And I picked it up. So thank you so much, Miss Kathy. Here's your dolphin.
Super chat.
All right. Pod Rosie, do you have a lot of return requests? I'm hearing sellers complain about it.
I don't. And I think my theory behind that is that I have a 60-day return policy. And we are a procrastinating society. And my theory is that if people did want to return something, and I have had cases opened where they've asked for a return, but they have such a long window of time to do it that they forget. And then I never hear from them again, and it never comes back. And I don't have to refund them because it never came back. So I think my long return policy actually protects me.
That's a pretty good idea.
I don't have that many. I used to, before I started my YouTube channel a year ago, I used to sell a lot of shoes. It was my main item. I used to thrift a lot of women's sandals. And I tried to just take as many pictures as eBay allows, which is 12. You can put 12 in, and describe them exactly. Any scuffs, any details, any marks. I would list the size. I would convert to European, to Australian, to any conversion that eBay would allow me to, and then I would measure. Also, just give as much detail about the item you're listing as possible, so you disclose anything that might cause a return. And just, if you disclose as much as you can, the chance of a return is less likely.
Yeah, I don't knock on wood. I haven't had a lot lately. The last one I had did not return the item. I think he just went to complain about the golf club. He said it didn't hit quite well, and I was like, that's not the golf club, bud. You know what I'm saying? Like, the golf club is fine. It's going to be your swing. But he didn't return it, so that was good. But I really don't get a lot. I would say my most return item, though, hands down, are electronics. Hands down are my biggest return. And it's not a lot, but my percentage in that category is higher than all other categories. Actually, everything. It's a lot.
For a legitimate reason, or for a scam?
I think sometimes it is, because I do test everything very well. But some of them older electronics, when they start getting jostled around in the mail, and I pack very well, there's no actual damage to them. But I've had a couple sent back to me. I was like, just send it back. And they are actually, something has like dislodged inside there. And a lot of times I can pop the back open and figure it out. And sometimes I just, to be honest with you,
that's why I don't sell clocks, because it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like shipping a clock.
And in shipment,
because you still package that, there's no damage to it. And I don't get, because when I say the word electronics, everybody's like, yeah, everybody tries to scam electronics. I haven't, luckily, had, maybe once or twice in 2 years, but I don't get a lot of that. I don't get a lot of sending the wrong item back, and I don't even worry about it. But I think they're legitimate, to be quite honest with you. I think that sometimes these old electronics, because I sell a lot of older ones, they just start jostling around, stuff gets moving, and next thing you know, boom, they don't work. And I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and I have 919 sold, and I have 4 returns right now. That's less than 0.5%. So I don't get them a lot. And being a top-rated seller, having free 30-day returns, I get 10% discount on my fees, and that is way more than the 4 returns and the cost of shipping for those. So I don't find that it's very high at all. Miss Emily wants to know what kind of glass is selling best right now.
Obviously right now there is a trend with uranium glass, glowing glass. It doesn't matter if it's green or what color. If it glows, it is selling. It's a hot item. Other than that, in the collectible market, it is your very high end. There are some makers, and I can't go through them all, but if you guys go and search art glass, sort by highest first and sold, you're going to see what's selling for, and I mean big money. There's some big money being traded out in the glass world. So keep an eye on that if you want to sell glass, because it will show up at auctions, estate sales, sometimes yard sales, not so much thrift stores. But if you want to get into glass, that's why I got into glass, is because a lot of people don't know glass enough to price it at like the estate sales and the auctions. So you can make so much money on fabulous glass, but you got to learn it. You got to know it. Your everyday, ordinary stuff, household glass, pretty vases and stuff, they will sell. They're just not selling for a lot, and I'm kind of a glass snob, and I don't want to sell the made in China vase for $20, even though I'll sell a bunch of other stuff for $20. With the glass, I stay pretty pure to the really, really good glass.
I love glass. I collect Viking myself, so you won't see any of that in my eBay store. Little glass animals are selling for me at the moment. I've sold a squirrel and several fish recently. So little animals. Like Danni said, uranium glass. I have both Danni and I take black lights with us when we thrift. A little black light. If you shine it on a piece of glass that contains uranium, it will glow. It will light up yellow or green. And manganese glass, Danni, I think is orange. Is it orange?
Yep. And that's in a lot of like the amberinas.
Right.
That will glow.
Right. And swung vases are extremely trendy right now. These are the glasses that when they're made, they're hung upside down. So the top of the vase, the spout, whatever it's called, sort of looks like it's spread out and sort of falling, and help me, Danni.
It's swung. I mean, it's literally,
it's hung upside down, and that it's uneven.
Exactly, an uneven top. Those there's a trend now. People are collecting them in rainbow colors and setting up a display of these swung glasses in a rainbow, and it looks amazing. And like Danni said, brand names. Viking, Blanco, Fenton. There's quite a lot of Fenton that's sort of flooded eBay just a bit. But look up glass, sort by highest, and you'll get a really good idea of what to look for.
I just went through my solds, and I went through about 57 to 60. I didn't sell anything glass. And I did sell a mug. It was a rainforest mug, 67 sales ago. That's been my last glass sale, so I have no idea.
And I haven't been listing a ton of glass either. I buy on auction, so it really depends on what I am finding. And like even my biggest auction buy, which I think I'm probably going to put off till next week because I need to organize the shed and they give me 30 days to pick up, doesn't have a ton of glass in it. So for me, when you see me picking up glass, it's probably an estate sale that was a collector, and I'll get an influx of glass at the same time. So I am probably not the one to ask. You guys will see me go through these little trends, and it's not even trends. It's just that's what I'm finding at that time. I go by what is available to me, and I haven't lately. Drip glaze is pottery, Mick. That's not
there's
glass.
So many questions about that, what you're talking about. I mean, they're
talking about a swung vase has an thank you. Here, look, I'll make Tiffany big. This is a swung vase.
They swing it upside down, and that's what causes the top to look like that.
Okay, now we know. But it's like a A reverse strip glaze with no top. Yeah. Scott wants to know what's one thing you've comped in the last week that pleasantly surprised you and one thing that has disappointed you.
I know the disappointment because I just researched it this morning. It was a Blue Willow tidbit tray that I thought would be like fantastic. And it wasn't. Like they're either not selling or they're selling for very little. So that was a boo. What was pleasantly surprised? Let's see. Gosh. You know how much stuff I buy, right? Oh, well, I mean, I knew it was going to be good, but the beveled antique brass mirror that I picked up at an estate sale, I thought it was going to be like in the $100 range. I just sold it for $260.
That's pretty good.
Wow. For me, probably my disappointment is pottery. A few months ago, art pottery was selling fantastically for me. You know, like the cheese domes and the chip and dip holders, just sort of what I call festival of the arts pieces. But all of a sudden, sales aren't so good and the prices seem to have stagnated. So that was disappointing because I get really excited when I find those pieces because I love them. But not so good on eBay right now. Exciting, probably scarves. Danni found some amazing scarves at Goodwill when she and I thrifted together last. And I think they were in the fabric section. Yes, I know. So that was amazing. So now at my Goodwill that I go to, I'm checking that section too. And I found this really, really, I don't think it was necessarily brand name, but it was a cool scarf, really, really nice with a very vintage look to it. And I couldn't believe what the scarves are going for. It was unbelievable. They're in the hundreds of dollars. Crazy, crazy.
We'll start with the exciting first is that I was at a yard sale and I got like I think it's 12 brand new cassette, and they're good ones. I forget the name. It's I forget. But anyway, paid $3 for it. I get home and I scan it because it's like a bonus pack, brand new old school cassettes, whatever. They go for like $100. I was thinking in my brain they were worth like 15. So I was like, score. Same day, I'm at another yard sale and there's this big Foot Locker, like a big trunk. And this guy's like, it's World War II, had some cool markings on it. And I was like, this thing is sweet. This thing's got to be worth some money. And he's like, $20. And I was like, sold. Get home. That is worth nothing. That's worth nothing.
Yeah. And mine, because of my limited listing and doing drafts, is going to be the same item. It's going to be the Harley pens. And the one comped out at $285. And then other ones are barely making 10. I'm listing them all at least 10, just because that's kind of where I would like to be. So mine's both. And I think that goes to point out, like, you need, like, in each category, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, and make sure you know what you got. So that's all I've been comping is Harley pens. And I probably will be for a long time, but my friend is listing stuff that is not Harley, so I'm looking forward to doing hers. But we have 650 Harley pens, guys. So we're going to be doing Harley pens for a while. Missy Liza, any advice for starting a reseller YouTube channel? What type of videos do you enjoy making the most?
So the videos that I enjoy making may not be the videos that you enjoy making. So I would say if you're really going to build a channel, you have to do something you enjoy because it's work. I'm going to tell you right up front, it is work. Like
a lot of work.
Every video is minimum of 4 hours, you know, and that doesn't count the actual filming part. So just, you know, I mean, I love the shopping. I love the shopping, but I got to tell you, I went on Sunday and I didn't film at an antique. I just shopped and it was like, I forgot what this was like.
It's a relief. It's a relief to walk in without a camera when you're used to having a camera.
Oh, it was awesome. So I will tell you, as much as I love making the thrifting videos, it's work. It's work. So just know that going into it, and you will not reap any rewards from it for months. It will be
maybe
months.
even years.
Some people it takes years. So just depends what you put into it. But just, yeah, I'm like, if and what are you good at? Like, don't try to be something that you're not. That's really hard to sustain. So if you can go into it being you, accentuate the positives, decrease the negatives, and do something you love, you can have a killer YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Exactly, Danni. That's excellent advice. You have to, if you have to love reselling, and you have to love thrifting if you're going to do a reselling channel. It has to be your life. It has to be what you would do in your time off. If you weren't working, this is what you do, and just now you're going to film it. And if that doesn't fit you, then, and you still want to do a YouTube channel, then do a YouTube channel of what you love. If it's, I don't know, if it's your dog, if it's hiking, if it's some sort of sports, if it's fixing up stuff. But make sure the YouTube channel that you start is because you love to do what you're showing. What types of videos do I enjoy making most? Thrifting, going to thrift stores and buying stuff and finding stuff. I also actually like my fixer-upper videos. I've done a couple where I refinish wooden items. And not many people know this. I think Danni knows this. I spent hours with my mom doing one on silver in Huntington Beach when I was staying with them. We cleaned silver spoons. We cleaned jewelry. We cleaned a toast rack. It was all perfectly ready to go. I drove home 5 hours to Las Vegas. The footage disappeared. It was completely gone, and I still haven't redone it.
That hurts when that happens.
Yeah.
I would say definitely just when you get into it, there's a lot of like, it's so much work, and you don't as they're saying, it's so much work that it's actually ridiculous how much work it is, to be quite honest with you. It is like, you're like, this is crazy, and you don't reap any. You're right. You keep putting out videos every other day, or like every day, that's insane. That's crazy. That's awesome. That's all those things. And it is just the amount of work it takes. Like, you could get a job done without filming, even thrifting or even yard selling. If you're moving with a camera on, you are ruining all your content. And you have to be conscious of that, because the faster you move, the blurrier it is, even with a GoPro. So then you have to slow down. So now that even takes you more time. So just that, all of that is just so much time. So you got to really like doing it. You really have to like editing. You have to like just being out there with everybody and talking to people and this community, and just know that you're going to do it. My sister just started a YouTube channel. I told her, just know that nobody's going to watch your stuff for 9 months. I said, get that in your brain. I said, 9 months, 0 views. I said, if you get a view, you should be happy. Because, I mean, literally, that's what it felt like. It felt like it was forever. What types of videos do I like the most? To be honest with you, I love doing What Sold. They just don't get any views, to be honest. Like Kat, she kills it on What Sold. She gets tons of views on it. I do What Sold, gets nothing. So I was like, so now I bleep them in a little bit. I'll give you a little What Sold at the end of my thrifting videos. But my thrifting and yard sale videos do exponentially better than any type of other video I've ever done. So I've stayed with them, and I do like them. I just always have to remember I'm wearing a camera, and that I have to slow down, like looking at stuff.
Yeah, and I would say the same. Like, a lot of people think because you have a YouTube, you're going to get more sales and you're going to make more money. Well, what about the year that you spend 40, 50 hours a week and you get absolutely nothing and nobody knows who you are, and it takes time away from your business and your sales drop? It depends on start it because you want to start it and you have something to share, whether that's shopping or showing what sold or teaching. For me, you will see, and you guys that watch me know, I lean heavily into teaching because that is what I love. I will do thrifting videos if I go thrifting and I want to, but like Danni said, like going into a thrift store without a camera is like, yay! Like, because you're kind of held down, you have something on you, you have to pay attention to how you're moving, to what you're doing, and it just slows you down. And I did some thrifting videos when I was up in Pennsylvania with Dale. I haven't been thrifting at home in over a month, but I primarily source from auctions. So I am more on like what sold and teaching videos, and that's because that's what I love. And people can tell if you're passionate and honest about what you're doing. And just know it can be really it can be depressing sometimes if you're not growing how you think you should grow. And if you look at some of these channels, I have friends that started when I started that still haven't had 1,000 subscribers. But on the flip side, I have other people that have 250,000 that started when I started. And those people are absolutely amazing. And I'm super happy for them, but you have to know, like, each of us has our own path, and you don't know what yours is going to be. You could go viral the first month and blow up, or it could be 3 years from now and you could still not be making a penny from YouTube. So just go in it, loving what you do, and you'll find out what kind of videos you like making the most. Thrifting videos to me are definitely more cumbersome to edit. They're longer. You have to cut out a lot more. Like my last one was like an hour and a half of footage into a 25-minute video. I do voiceovers on mine, so that's yet another step into doing it. So you just really have to kind of, figure out what works for you and what you like, and that people know if you like it. All right, here's your dolphin. I put it up so I wouldn't forget. Thank you, Eliza.
Super chat.
All right, I don't know if Danni saw this question in the chat. Desert Fairy Chick wants to know the bird's name.
I bet the chat could answer this. This is Bougie. Bougie, they're talking about you. Yes, they are. I think we're going to end up with a bougie cam at some point.
That would be cool. Do like the live cam.
Yeah.
And Miss Patty wanted to know, Julian, if you have any pets.
Nope, I don't. Biko's gone, but we are getting a new dog in May. We already picked up. Well, it's a long story about this dog, but we're getting a new dog in May. Easy as that. I won't go anymore.
Getting a new dog soon.
Yeah.
Miss Pame, does anyone know if Namaji? So do you guys know Namaji? Okay, yeah. So you guys go ahead. I know Namaji as well.
So there's common pieces of Namaji, and then there's more rare pieces of Namaji. And if you find those more rare pieces and colors, those sell really well. Some of the more common stuff you're going to sit on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually found a piece last week. I think it was my thumbnail of my last video. It was I think it's called a wedding vase. It has the two spouts, and this particular one had sort of the orange swirl. They're quite famous for sort of an oil paint look. I think they dip it. They dip the piece in oil on water, and it sort of the oil paint sticks to the piece, and then they fire it. And that piece, so I posted my video late because I was having all kinds of uploading issues and copyright strikes, and I think I posted it quite late, and by midnight it was sold. So directly from my haul. So that was great. So absolutely, Namaji is super popular, but like Danni said, there are some really detailed speciality pieces that are worth a lot more. So you absolutely need to do your research on those and spend some time evaluating the piece you have, because it could be a big buck maker.
Yeah, and isn't it that the clay comes from the Namaji River? Like that's how it got its name. It's one
Right, and they
particular
always have
place.
the stamp on the bottom, Namaji Pottery USA.
Yeah. And mine have been like $20-$30 pieces that I found. They haven't been high, but there are high ones, but I love them. So I still pick them up as long as they're a good price. So it's a bolo for like, I think if you price it right, they will move decently fast, within a few months. And you might get lucky and find higher. I got to show you guys this because I just got a $110 offer on a crab brooch and I'm going to accept it.
Yeah,
I have it listed at $130, so I am okay with $20 less, and I paid $2 for that. So there's my new highest for the week. I don't know if any of us do this. I personally do not do Facebook auctions. Does anybody do Facebook auctions?
So I started doing Facebook auctions before I did YouTube. And I know there are some pretty successful people doing Facebook auctions. I'm not so sure about starting new at this point. I think a lot of people have migrated over to either YouTube or Instagram or whatnot is like the new thing. So it's going to depend. Do you already have a following on Facebook? If you do, then yeah, you can do something there. It has to be done, kind of as a branding. You have to really like plan it out and know. You think it's tough to get people onto your YouTube channel. Facebook's way harder. You go live and you'll sit there crickets. Like, where is everybody? So just be careful with expectations going into it. I can't think right offhand who I know, but it's circle around and let me see if I can find the people that I know are still going strong.
I have no experience with Facebook auctions. I still struggle with Facebook itself.
I'm with that too. Facebook is my least social media that I get on ever. I don't even think of it. Like I have a little Facebook group thing, but I have no idea. Nothing. I don't even marketplace.
Yeah,
that's where I'm
and
at.
I don't either. Julian, is
Okay,
there a super
there's
chat?
one that I follow called Facebook
on.
Live Auctions and Sales. They've got 31,000 members in their group. So it's building up a group to enough people that are going to engage with your lives.
Yeah, so find those groups maybe and see if they can help you and get started. Miss Diane said, you gals and guy tonight. Yes, it is gals and guy rock. Thank you for all the knowledge you share. Diane, you're so welcome. Here.
Super chat.
All right. Scrappy Stamper had a buyer at payment ask if I could hold shipping the item so it would arrive in the middle of next week. What would you do?
It's always such a tough one because it's this battle between what's right for the customer and what eBay wants you to do. And I will side on the take care of the customer. So you're going to take a hit, you're going to get a ding, but you do get a percentage before, you're knocked down from any kind of status that you have with eBay. So take care of your customers always first because you want them to come back, but it does suck when that happens.
I agree with Danni. Absolutely. I want to make my customer happy so they'll come back and shop at my store more. But in this situation, what I would probably do is wait until the very last minute to print the label. So I print the label right at the last minute before I got dinged. And then I would have the package ready to go with the label on it. And then I would drop it at the post office in time for it to arrive when the buyer wanted it. So maybe I would avoid an eBay ding doing it that way.
Smart.
Yeah, that is smart. And I have next day shipping and it says that on all my stuff. So like it's getting shipped out the next day. And I've had people ask that where they're like, hey, can you, they buy it on Monday. Can you wait until Friday to ship it? Cause I'm gone. No, I'm sorry. Like it tells you when that should arrive. I'm not taking that hit because I don't know what's going to happen. The post office might mess up and not scan 3 of my items or something crazy. And the next thing you know, I'm falling below, and I could have negated that a little bit by doing. So if it's, I have waited to the last minute to do that, and that's worked. If they're like, hey, they buy it on Monday, like, dude, can you ship this out like Wednesday? Yeah, I can print it like Monday night, and then like Tuesday, I can get, you can manipulate a little bit there. But if it's like a blatant that I'm going to get dinged, and I know that there's no way to pack it late, ship it, you know what I'm saying? Then no, I write them back and say, hey, sorry, eBay holds me accountable to my shipping time. My shipping time was on the post, and if you want to, you can go ahead and cancel it. And then, if it's still available, you can surely buy it on Friday.
Yeah, and I've done that as well. I've kind of been like, hey, I could get in trouble if I don't ship everything out on time. Is there something else we can do? And I've had people be like, oh yeah, my neighbor can go, pick it up. And if they didn't in the end, I would probably wait to ship it out. But I do try and get them to figure out a way to be okay with me shipping it on time. I ship out enough that like 1 or 2 is not going to hurt me. And I actually for camp changed my shipping to 2-day handling. And I think I'm going to leave it on that. That way, if I'm having a bad day or crazy day and stuff's going on, like yesterday coming back from camp, I was super tired. And luckily I was expecting none, but I didn't take into account people that were paying late that had bought it before I changed my handling time. And then I started auctions before I changed my handling time. So I had 8 to go out, but that was of 26. So I like having that option where like, if, whatever, if anything happens, I would have an extra day to do some if I needed to. So I think I'm going to leave mine on the 2-day handling versus 1 day and see. I'm going to see if it hurts. I still intend on shipping every day as of right now. And I'm just going to kind of see what happens. Miss Kathy wants to know, how long do you keep an item in inventory before you send out an offer?
I like it to be listed at least a week or 2 before I start just reducing the price. And that's worked really well for me. Oftentimes I'll either get an offer on a hot item that I've just listed, or if I wait that couple of weeks, now I've got more people that offer is going to go out to. And I kind of give them that pressure. I put the little message in there that this offer was sent to several people, be the first one to, grab this good deal or something like that. But
yeah,
I'm not too quick on it though.
I'm really bad about sending offers. It's it's just not something I do very often, but I do always consider offers that come in, and more often than not, when an offer comes in, the item ends up being sold because we come to some sort of agreement.
If I have offers like on the little screen, it is almost instantaneous. Like if one pops up like, oh, somebody watched something, I'm like, hey, you want to buy it? Because they're probably still looking at their phone. They were just like, oh, that's a cool item. They watched it, and then immediately they get an offer from me. They're like, this guy's on the ball. Sure, I'll take it for $3 less.
Yeah. Yeah, and I send it out even on the first day I listed it. I have kind of a tier I do. I'll send 10% if it's been listed 2 months or less. And then I do 15% if it's been listed like 3 months to 6 months. And then I go up to 20% if it's 6 months to a year. If it's over a year, I go 25 to 30%. And that's been getting me moving a lot of my older inventory. So I used to be like Julian when I sent them on the phone, but now I want to see the date they were listed. So now I only send offers from my computer. I don't do it from my phone anymore because I can't see the date the item was listed. And I had like 177 offers yesterday to send because I was not on my computer at all during camp because we had issues getting my computer hooked up to project my presentations, and I was scared to unplug it. So my computer stayed like right at the projection screen the whole weekend because I'm like, I'm not messing this up. So I sent out, and I've only gotten a couple of sales from 177 offers I sent out. I think it's better the faster you send them out, like Julian said, because it's like fresh in their mind. They just looked at it, and I think they're more likely to buy it if it's faster. I've heard people say too, they like to send it on Fridays because Fridays are payday. So there's a lot of different theories floating out there, and you could try different ways of, sending them as well. The Savage deal, has the new USPS higher shipping. How has the higher USPS shipping been since it's changed? And did you go in and change everything?
I didn't need to change everything because I use calculated shipping. So my weights and measurements are in there. So when things change, eBay automatically adjusts what they show the customer. I think the biggest thing that's changed for me is not buying the bigger items that are in like the $20 to $30 range that I used to, because those used to sell a lot easier when the shipping was only like, 10 or 12 bucks. Now the shipping's gone up, to $15 to $20, and it does affect how much and how quickly those things sell. So often in my videos, I'll pass a really cool item just simply because of its size and the fact that the customer is going to look at it and say, well, I've got to pay $20 in shipping. I'm not giving you 30, so that's pretty much what's changed for me. But I've been in this game long enough to know that those shipping rates have gone up every year, are going to continue to go up every year until there comes to a level where the shipping companies go, uh-oh, we went too far. And that's going to be when we're not selling and shipping as much stuff. And it's going to be this whole reset thing that'll happen at some point. But people grumble, but they keep paying it. I mean, I do. I keep buying stuff. I grumble. I'm like, oh man, that's like $15 shipping. But I pay it. So.
You're like, add to cart. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Danni. I haven't gone in and changed any listings either because I mostly do calculated shipping. And on the things that I don't do calculated shipping, which are usually things under £1, it's only a matter of a few cents anyway. So I'm not gonna go change anything. As far as I have noticed a difference in my buying habits. Like Danni said, I'm not going to buy really big and heavy stuff. And neither am I going to buy really fragile stuff either, because I have had a few instances lately where things are broken. I pack like the thing is going to be dropped off a 20-story building and then a hippo is going to sit on it. Honestly.
You need this.
That is
this
great.
Stuff is amazing. If it's worth a lot, pick it up and buy these. They come in 2 days. It's Instapack and it's hard foam and it conforms around them. Only if it's high dollar. Yeah. It's not worth. These are like $6 a piece. They're expensive. But if it's $500 in profit, these are your friends. I just got in more, so they happen to be on my desk.
I should a 24-inch lava lamp, you guys. Come on.
Woo. So I tissue paper, I small bubble, I large bubble, I peanut and paper, and it's unbelievable. The box was ripped open. It was just squished. And even though you pay for insurance now, still the post office is making your customer take the broken item.
Yeah, they've made it a lot harder.
That's the worst change than the increase in shipping is the difficulty in getting paid on a claim.
Yeah,
it used to not be like that, and now
they used to honor
is
claims
more difficult.
immediately. Immediately, they would honor claims, and now they're making the customer go into the post office with the broken item, all the packaging, stand in line, fill out forms. There's no way I'm going to make my customer do that. I'm just not.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I write it off as a loss, but I'm just not going to pick up some of the fragile things that there is a chance when the guys, drop kick it across the room that it's going to break. It's just not worth it. So.
Yeah.
That's why I like things made of metal. When they kick it, they know that thing's made of metal. They're like, that thing
switching
is...
the golf clubs.
Yeah. Switching, all I did was I went in and I saw a lot of people say they would also switch to UPS. I actually switched to FedEx first, and then I did actually 50%. I did a bulk because I was like, switch here and see exactly in a 2-week period what was the best rates. UPS outwon FedEx by here and there, so I did switch everything over to FedEx. I mean UPS. Mine was a little bit more difficult because I had messed up some stuff. So it is what it is. But I'm fully over it. You have to remember. Tennis rackets fall into that category now, being too long. Baseball bats I forgot about. So I got hit with a surcharge on that one that I didn't.
Oh, I have a couple still listed, I think.
Yep.
I need to make myself a note.
Bats.
Hold on.
Yep.
Artwork, even if you roll it up in a tube now, if it's...
Yep. Posters.
Yep.
So
anything
anything like that.
I don't know what they're thinking on that.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. Sometimes it was almost the same to send it with the surcharge and FedEx to the West Coast. It was almost like the same. But UPS, unless they backcharge me, which they might be like, that was way too cheap. But my entire shipping thing is completely different when it comes to long items. I do a flat rate now. I never do flat rates. I've switched to a flat rate, which is boosting sales because I'm capitalizing on people not switching their stuff. And so they're showing, they're showing huge shipping charges where I'm only showing a small shipping charge. And I haven't got burned yet. I'll tell you next week if I get burned.
Yeah. And you know, the UPS charges through pirateship.com are amazing. And there's no surcharges or anything. So that's where I do my UPS from. Somebody
actually told me that the other day on Instagram. They said, have you tried this? I said, no. They said, why are you not doing it? And I was like, well.
Yeah. Yeah, and it imports your eBay listings too. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't have to change anything either because I'm calculated and like my big art pieces have the dimensions in that I'm expecting. But like Julian said, I do have a few baseball bats and a few golf clubs, I think still. So I need to write that too, that I need to go in because I could get got. And honestly, they're so low cost, they might just need to be pulled and redonated. But yeah.
I imagine we're going to see a lot of bats and golf clubs back at the thrift stores.
Coming into the thrift stores.
I pulled 40 in one night. I pulled 40 off my eBay store because I was changing everything. And I was just like, dude, this is worth $10. Somebody's not going to pay $25.
$25 to ship it.
They actually go to the scrap yard. I scrap metal too. So scrapping everything.
All right. Harry wants to know what pin. It's actually not a Harley pin, guys. So it's this Sturgis Rally pin. I don't know if you can see it. It's from 1986. It was the first year. And it's listed at $298. The last one sold for $289 2 weeks ago. So I listed a little bit higher because mine is the only one. If you guys don't know, Harry is who provided me, he gifted me with some encouragement for me. The creepy guy that stares at you that some of you hate was a gift from Harry Humstone years ago now. I've had that ventriloquist dummy for years, and he moved from in my house to the shed. So Harry, thank you again for him. And yeah, so it's actually not even a Harley pin that's the highest. It's a black Sturgis Rally, and it's because it was the first year. That's why it's so valuable. Julian, was there a member? I think.
Yes, possibly. I actually had my, I was scrolled and saw it, and then boom.
Oh, click it again. Oh, Tracy O was at my camp. Tracy was at my camp this weekend. Tracy and her daughter, Danielle. And Dalton, her daughter is a coach, and like Dalton was in love with her daughter. Dalton, like they were like, and her daughter is older. Her daughter's older than my daughter, but like she's a coach at a school and she did amazing with Dalton. He loved her. So Tracy, thank you for joining. Here's your dolphin.
Welcome to the flipping family.
There's another one.
Oh, Angel Monello, thank you so much as well. Here's your dolphin.
Welcome to the flipping family.
Yay! All right. Bought a purse I thought was authentic. Now I believe it is fake. What would you do? Would you take it back?
So take it back to where you bought it from? Yeah, if you think it's fake and it was sold as authentic, I'd go back and say, hey, unless they can prove to you otherwise. I mean, any good reputable retailer should take it back because that's on them.
I'm wondering.
Sell it.
I'm wondering if you are you saying that you bought it on eBay for yourself, or you bought it to resell?
Well, she's saying take it back, so I feel like it's somewhere where she can bring it physically back. So I would think a thrift store would be my thought on that.
I think it depends on the policy, really. If it was sold as authentic, at our Goodwills, they usually put authentic purses in the in the glass case in the back, and they're definitely priced as authentic. They're in the 20s and up to $100 maybe.
She bought it at a thrift store.
It depends on their policy, really.
Yeah, I mean, thrift stores, you got to be careful because it's buyer beware. I mean, it's all used goods. They're not represented.
Yeah, a lot of them won't. I know my Goodwills only take back like electronics and plug-in things. They would not take a purse back at mine.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, our Goodwills. I had an instance where I bought a box of what I thought were Chip and Joanna Gaines Magnolia home plates. The box was taped up. I was all excited because I love Joanna Gaines, and it was taped so I couldn't look at it. I got it home, opened it up, and it was these bright burgundy made in China plates. And I wasn't clear on if somebody bought the Chip and Jo plates and switched them out and just taken them to Goodwill, or whether Goodwill had done it. But I have a good relationship with the manager. I told her what happened, and she took those back. But as far as a purse that you are able to buy and look at,
if you paid a big price, so I'd try. Go talk.
Yeah,
to the
I was going to say that if I paid a lot, which would indicate that it was authentic. Yeah, tell us if you paid a lot for it, then I would be like, look.
Maybe ask for
I would try.
That's sometimes a little easier for them to do than giving you your money back, to see if you can get store credit.
It was in a glass case and priced at authentic.
Oh, yeah.
But you're saying you think it's not authentic. I would almost say like they could also tell you to prove that it's not. Holy Moses.
Ooh.
I'm taking it back, and I'm not leaving.
I think there's some authentication sites that are pretty lower cost. I would go to if it were me, I would go to an authentication site, have them like authenticate it, and then you might find out it is real. And then you would have a certificate for your buyer. And if it's not, you would have that to go and get your $127 back, proving that it's not. That would be my step. If I paid that much, that would be my step.
Or I don't know where you live, Nicole. So if it's a Coach or something like that, if there's a store by you, they'll go. If you take the person, they'll tell you. They'll tell you if it's one of theirs, if it's real or not.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. If something sits on eBay, do they remove it, or it sits there forever until you remove it or it sells? You answered your own question. It will sit there forever until you remove it or it sells.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to work. But
sometimes things mysteriously disappear.
They do. So you should like I run an inventory every year. And it's tough because if you have not organized to do such, I'm going to tell you right from the start, especially you guys like starting out and you don't have that much stuff, do a physical inventory, match it to your listings so you know what you have. Because once you get thousands of listings, it becomes a monumental chore to keep track of that stuff. If it's not super duper easy to go to a shelf and say, okay, boom, 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 it's in my custom field, I can see it. But yeah, I learned to do the physical inventory because sometimes eBay will also relist something that you've sold and you don't realize it until it sells again. And that's no fun either. So just really watching your inventory and making sure what you have listed you have on your shelves, and that there's no extras listed that you don't have on your shelves.
Yeah, I need to do that. I don't think I will do it every year. I will not lie. I think it will probably take me a year. But you can, and I found this out today because I pulled the wrong Harley pin, and I was like, do I still have the one that really sold? I ended the wrong one that I sold on Facebook, and I pulled the one I ended versus the one that sold. And you can search your custom SKU field, which for me is a great way to do inventory. So I can go put A1 and and pull up everything that's on A1 shelf, and I can match them.
Yeah.
So now that I know that actually, I might do like all of the A's one week, and just do shelf by shelf, because I didn't know that custom SKU is a field that you can search, which is nice.
That's exactly what I do, because I can't do it all in one day. So
yeah,
I do this shelf and this shelf, and then
yeah,
exactly.
Julian, do we have a member? Clay. Were you a member before? I think Clay was a member before. Clay is a good friend of mine. We talk on the phone. Thank you for joining, Clay. Here's your dolphin.
Welcome to the flipping family.
Happy to have you. Visu Pots. What is a good auction site? I've been reading Good and Bad. I'm very new. Don't even have listings yet. Not sure where to start. So if we're using auctions, what auction site are we using?
So just a warning, auctions can get you in trouble. Auctions can get very
cause death piles.
Yeah. So I don't know that I would say auctions are the first place to start sourcing if you're brand new, because you have to be savvy going into an auction, or you can way overpay for stuff. That being said, go to auctionzip.com and you can find all of the auction houses local to you. You can find online auctions. It's a wealth of information.
I'm going to defer to Kat because I know that she's the auction queen.
Yeah, I would almost agree too that auctions, if you're just starting, that can be a competitive little thing, and then next thing you know, you're paying way too much money, and it's just I would start. I know you do what you want, but I would definitely start. It's probably researching at like thrift stores or garage sales. Even like my progression was like thrift stores, because you have more time to look at stuff, and then like yard sales, you better be on P's and Q's because people come in and start grabbing stuff from you. And auctions is like, I think is even worse than that, because you don't have much time. You can sit there and you can look at it. When you start bidding, that stuff gets me in trouble every time.
With high bid, though, what I would say as far as researching, and I do agree, I don't think auction should be the first place you're going, but if you research them right, you can put notes and have what the comps are on your notes, so you know where you want to go. High bid is the one I use the most. Danny said auctions if it's funny. I heard it and then I looked once and I never went back, just because you have your favorites that you use. But I want to caution you, Auction Zip, High Bid, any of them, it's not just one company. So you hear horror stories. It's just like eBay. That's hundreds and thousands of auctions. So you don't know, you need to know what auction house if you hear a horror story, and maybe stay away from that auction house. But High Bid is like eBay for auction companies. There are tons of them. They are all different. They all have different fees. They all have different policies. They all treat people differently. There are good ones. There are bad ones, just like on any platform. So you could do it, but it can be more money. And I would start with like thrift stores and garage sales just till you get used to it. Before jumping into auctions. But when you do, I would look at them early, where you have days and you research and make yourself notes. So when it gets down to the end and you're all excited, you're not clicking bid and paying more than you should.
I've actually managed 2 auction houses, and from that, I've written a book. It's an old book now, but it's still very, very relevant. It's Buying at Auction Houses for Fun and Profit. And I give all the dirty little secrets, because auction houses have their dirty little secrets. They're in it to make as much money as possible. But if you educate yourself going in, you can avoid all that. And yeah, auctions can be fantastic places to source, but go in educated.
Yeah. Jan wants to know, as a reseller buyer, like when we're searching on eBay, how are we searching? Like, are we searching newly listed, lowest cost? Like, what are we looking at when we're searching?
Highest. I want to know what's selling for the highest. Like, that's where I'm going straight to the highest and then working my way down. And then I will look at best match, because it's going to tell you more, you know, what is selling that week, or, you know, within the last couple weeks. But I really want to see the highest price something is sold for, because I'm an optimist. I'm like, okay, well, if that sold for that once, I'm going to find that buyer again.
And I am exactly the same way. I'm like, what's the most that I could get for this? I'm the same way.
I search both. I search lowest and highest cost, just to compare to see if there's any differences, why something would sell low and the same thing would sell so high. And I also look to see when the high cost listed items sold, how long ago it was. And Jen, I'm just reading your question. I think I read it wrong to start with. I wondered if you were asking about sourcing on eBay, but I don't think you are. If you're asking as a reseller buyer,
if you're asking about sourcing,
then you want to look lowest.
If I'm sourcing, I'm going to look for lowest cost, but not necessarily, because if I'm sourcing, I might want to buy a lot. And if you sort by lowest, then you miss items that are higher cost, because there's several of them in the lot. So if
I'm sourcing on eBay, I'm not going to put in the exact name of the item that I know it is. I'm going to look for the seller who didn't do their homework and is perhaps selling like fire and light as pretty art glass.
That would be me. Glass. You would be looking for a seller like me with that. I would say pretty looking glass.
Yeah. Recycled glass, thick glass with bubbles in it.
Oh, yeah. Glass with bubbles. I would use that term. Yeah, 100%. Glass with a bubble in it. Looks good.
But you need to educate yourself. Do it lots of different ways. Newly listed is good, because somebody might list something, they don't know what they have. Boom.
And then you can buy it.
Just to see it and buy it. Exactly.
I just won 3 auctions, like when we were sitting here, from somebody who does penny auctions still. Like,
that's
I'm
scary.
all over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really add much to what they just said. They said,
I'm searching highest if I find the exact item, because like Danni said, I want to know the highest that they could do. I don't really source on eBay, but if I come across, like if I'm researching my item and I notice one's really cheap, I will buy it if I see it. Yep. So I don't purposefully source on eBay, but I do occasionally do it because I run across stuff that is worth me getting. Snowberry Vintage, is there a way to find out the most search terms or keywords on eBay?
I'm sure there's an app out there that does that. But that's
if somebody knows, I'm happy to hear it, chat, because I know I don't. Tiffany, Julian.
But this is where knowing your niche. This is where being fine-tuned into something that you sell a lot of doesn't mean that's the only thing you sell, but for me, I know glass. And so I'm sure out there somewhere, Google AdWords research is going to give you kind of that same information. How many people are
like what's popular
for this term? And they're going to tell you the terms related to that item. But you have to fine tune it. There isn't just like a one size fits all highest search terms.
Yeah. I there's probably something though. Richard has a question for Julian. How is married life?
Great. Wonderful. Excellent.
That's right. You weren't married the last time we were.
No, a lot has changed. You guys have been gone. Yeah.
He got married.
Got married.
Yeah.
Honeymoon was good. Yep. All good things.
After some bumps. We won't talk about that. Desert Fairy Chick. Have my first GSP item to an offer. The buyer is asking for reduced shipping. I already sold the item for $7 less. What would you do?
No. You guys, stop letting customers dictate how you run your business. You cannot walk into any store and say, I think you've got this price too high, or you can't tell, someplace you're ordering online, you know what, that shipping's too high. You pay it or you don't. And you knew going in how much it was going to cost. So don't give your shipping discount away and don't discount your shipping.
Exactly. And what that does is it sets a precedent for all us other sellers. If it shows that you're selling too low, then you bring the market down on that item, and it's just a disaster. It's a race to the bottom, and we can't do that. We got to stick together and keep our prices fair and reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. Nope.
Yeah. I tell them I'll cancel it. GSP is not a price that you decide anyways. So you have no control over the cost. And I would say that my shipping price is set. You saw it when you purchased the item. If you're not happy with it, I'm happy to cancel the transaction and goodbye. And at that point, I would probably block them from buying from me again. Fab to Find. The workshop was great. We discussed it a little bit earlier. It was amazing. It was honestly it went great. It went perfect as planned. I was very, very happy with it, which is nice. I was very tired. I had no voice yesterday. It is back today. My throat's still a little sore. Talking for over 10 hours is not something I normally do. So yeah, I'm glad to have my voice back. It's like as we're going on, it's hurting a little bit more. So I'll be on like voice rest like a singer tomorrow, but I have to do a video tomorrow. So I'll be talking again. Yeah. Carolyn, if the item you want to list on eBay is listed only currently by the manufacturer, should I be worried about getting a Vero? I say yes.
Yeah. Something you definitely want to look into.
You can research and see. I believe there is a Vero list for eBay that you can check. It's a good thing to check it anyway, just so you have a heads up going into sourcing of the things that are a big no-no, because they're pretty strict about that, and you can easily get suspended or banned completely.
100%. I did one of those on my videos a while back. There was like only the manufacturer selling this thing, and I was like, I don't know about this. Like no solds from private sellers, only manufacturer, and it was super suspicious.
That's a red flag to me, and I would say I would not list it. Catherine wants to know if we will each share how long we have been doing what we're doing.
So I've been reselling. I mean, I say that I grew up in the back of a thrift store because I had an aunt who volunteered at a thrift store, and I helped her every summer, pricing, sorting, doing all that. And that's where I really kind of got my love of it. And then I was doing like yard sales like that, because that's what you did before eBay. You bought and sold stuff that way. And when eBay came along, I was said, like, they made this for me. Like, this is amazing. So I'm one of the early starters. I actually heard about it when they went public. So it was 1998, October 1998 is when I found eBay, and it changed my life forever. Bougie, don't look, Bougie.
This is Ziggy. I was the girl at school who would spend her pocket money on the good chocolate from the corner store, take it to school and resell it for a profit. So I've been doing this a long time. I started my eBay store in 2002. I worked a full-time job and did eBay as a hobby, and then on the side until 2015. I lost my job in 2015 and then just was forced to go all in. Haven't looked back. I've had my YouTube channel for just over a year, and I am blessed by all you wonderful lovelies, because I've just done unbelievably well, and I'm so grateful. Thank you. And thank you to Danni, because she has mentored me and been instrumental in my success as well.
Not that long. I would still be considered a rookie by all facets. Usually you're out of the rookie stage of the year 5. I'm at like year 3. And really, I didn't sell or do anything prior to that. Like, it wasn't like I was like, yeah, I went to, like, my mom would drag me to yard sales as like a kid, and I hated it. And then my wife now, she would drag me to Goodwill, and I hated that. And then I flipped a teapot, and I was like, this is awesome. And then I found like some other things, and I was like, I hate my job, and I love this. And then I quit, and then this is me 3 years later. And I've been on YouTube too. I think I'm going on 2 years now, 2-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like Tiffany, I was buying stuff at Sam's. I would have my mom take me to Sam's and buy big bottles of Warheads when I was in middle school, and I would sell them at school. And I grew up, my brother was a flipper. He had booths at the flea market. He would buy whole truckfuls of stuff from people. So I did grow up seeing that. I, like Danni, very, very close. It wasn't 98, but it was less than a year after eBay started. I had my oldest son in May of 99. I was home with him. The place next door to where I lived sold roses, and I don't know how I searched eBay. I started selling plants on eBay. So I would go buy them from the man that grew them next door, and then I would package them up and send them out. And I sold plants multiple times on eBay. I owned a plant nursery, because here in Florida, we can get a lot of plants that people around the country can't, and they grow as house plants. Now it's like too much care, because I made a lot. I made like 40,000 way back when, so I could probably make a lot, but that's a lot of care. You probably bought plants. Like, people were sending cash and money orders then. Like, we were getting cash and money orders back then. Yep. That's how people were paying. So I've been on eBay since the 90s as well. Stopped multiple times, came back, did plants again. And then in 2019, started doing some pallets. When I had Dalton, I was trying to find extra income to go home. I went part-time nursing in July last year, and then I quit nursing completely the end of February this year, and have been full-time since then. As far as YouTube, I'm right at 2.5 years on YouTube. So, yeah. Clay, tell Mike to message me. Mike lives close to me. Mike isn't far from me. Thank you for your $2, Clay. Here, you could just text me that. You didn't have to give me $2, but I'm not going to argue. Here's your dolphin.
Super chat.
All right. Carol at R10 Roof. I watch and follow each of you. You're all wonderful. Such a wide range of knowledge you bring in your thrift videos. Can each of you name just one favorite niche?
I think I've said it multiple times. Glass.
I'm a glass girl too, but just because Danni said it, I'll go with art pottery.
If I could find it, mine would be hands down fishing gear. I just can't find enough of it.
And I think mine lately is jewelry. And you will notice again, I switch. I can't just say one. Jewelry, pottery, linens are probably my top 3. And I love glass too. I don't find it that often. Right now, I'm going to have a resurgence of jewelry. That's what happens when I do research videos. And I think I need to find all this high dollar stuff. So we're going to see how good I am. We're going to see.
I love shipping jewelry.
Yeah. Oh, it's these Harley pens. It's like so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Natural Endeavors, send me an email, because my coupon code should be good for any level, even the lowest one. And I have a direct connect with Clara, the co-founder. So please email me, kat@thenurseflipper.com with a K. And I will reach out to Clara, because that should not be the case. My code should be good for the basic level all the way up for the 30% off. If there's probably a glitch, if not, and you're the first one that has told me that. So now if you have ever had List Perfectly, I don't think you can use a coupon code, like if you've ever had it in the past. So with that, if you have, that might be the issue. Dawn is asking if we buy pillows that are handmade, store-bought, or both.
I'll buy any pillow if it's a good resaleable pillow.
Absolutely, me too. Yeah, like Danni said, as long as it's clean or cleanable and not lumpy to where it's been through the wash and been dried and ruined. If it's in good condition, absolutely, yeah.
Sure, I'll buy a pillow if I saw it on eBay and has some really good sold comps. I don't care how. That's about it.
Yeah.
I don't buy a lot of pillows.
Yeah, and I buy both, and there are some brands like IKEA pillows do well.
Your one.
Why can I not think of the name? Pottery Barn pillows do well.
Yep.
There are several brands that do very, very well, and I think the patterns are no longer made. So, like, if somebody has those pillows and wants some extra pillows, they can go pretty high. So I buy both. And I want to say, like Tiffany's saying, as long as they're not all lumpy, I will buy vintage and antique pillows that are, and they have sold very well. And some of them, like, you can tell, like, they've been through it, but they're still pretty. I will still pick those up, and I've sold a few of those too.
And outdoor pillows, like especially.
Oh yeah,
right now,
indoor, outdoor for sure. For
pillows.
like the patio. Yeah.
My car is loaded right now. I went to Goodwill, and I'm not selling these, but I found completely new cushions for my outdoor furniture for $3.99 each. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Kat wants to know if, like, who of us uses WorthPoint?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
All of us. It is absolutely amazing. All four of us do. Katrina wants to know, what state, cities, or location would you like to thrift that you haven't?
Ooh. Wow. I haven't been too much on the East Coast. I've been in Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania as far as, so I kind of like to explore that area more because of the history there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. The original states where you might find just, original stuff that might have come over from Europe would be fantastic. And I came over from England when I was 16 and didn't really get a chance to, thrift on my own there without my parents and, supervision. So I would love to go to England, Italy, France, Germany, those countries, and just be able to thrift and find really old antique pieces. That would be
road trip collab.
That would be like a boat trip. Or airplane trip.
Well, we'll have to do a little.
You drive to Italy, that would be impressive. I would love to hit all 50 states one time. Just go around. Obviously not at once, or maybe at once. I don't know. It all depends how good the content is. But yeah, 50 states. I mean, that would be really cool, just to say I've been in all 50 states and I bought something and then flipped it. So,
yeah, I'd like to go everywhere I haven't been. I go everywhere I go and like to stop. And there are different things. It's fun to see like the different areas and what they have to offer and what you'll find and not find in different areas. So for me, honestly, anywhere that I haven't been, which there are a lot of places that I haven't been. Miss Willie Joe, which it might be both of them. It's a couple. They were both at my camp this weekend. So thank you guys for coming to my camp. What is the best place to find comps for paintings?
So I'm subscribed to a site called askart.com. Now you can, it's a lot like WorthPoint. You can go to Ask Art and you can research and you can find if the artist that you have is listed, and listed means that it has sold in a high-end auction somewhere, that it's got a listed sale price. So I actually pay for the subscription so that I can get the actual selling prices. Also, the auction house estimates they'll give you, because sometimes they don't meet reserve, but it gives you that information as well as what they expected it to sell for. And it gives you signatures and bios and all kinds of stuff. So that's my serious art site.
I don't sell a whole lot of art. I tend to buy things I like, and they usually end up on my wall. But I'll go to eBay, and then Danni introduced me to Cherish, CHAIRISH. And they have more high-end items, just it's like a level up. So that's a really good place to list and sell and buy just a little bit nicer stuff. And they have a lot of art listed as well.
Yeah, art's tough. Like, I don't know the difference between, you got to know your stuff, because I bought some like art just because it was cheap, and then I was looking at it and there was prices on eBay that were super high, but it was definitely not the same thing I had, because it was a different like lithograph or painted oil, or I don't know the difference. So I was like, I'm done. Like, I didn't want to put that much effort into it. I could tell that it wasn't the thing on eBay, and I was like, I can't. This is overloading. Like, I will. So I watch a little bit here and there, but I haven't dove into art because there is so much to learn. Like, ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a ton. So if I can read the artist name, I do use WorthPoint. I don't get enough that I would think like the Ask Art subscription would be for me. I like pick them up here and there, and when I pick them up, they're typically cheap. I have priced some that like I couldn't read the artist high because of what is in it. Like, I sold a clipper ship painting for almost $300 because it was large, it was impressive, and I saw other clipper ship paintings selling that high. So I use eBay as well and would put like the subject matter of my painting, and I would put signed and not put the artist, because I think if you watch me, you know, I'm not into spending a ton of time because my item might not be worth something. I am happy getting the price that, you know, is a good profit for me. And if somebody gets a $20,000 painting for me, then good for them. Not to say I wouldn't kick myself, but, you know, I would at least know, like, I paid $10, I sold it for $300, and I was happy with that. And I'm assuming they probably wouldn't tell me. I would rather they not tell me. They can go do what they do with it. But so for me, it's a little bit more about that, about just knowing that I get a profit. Because I think when you get stuck on like, I can't find exactly how much this is worth, like you're spending hours and hours on something that might not be worth anything. So if you know what you paid, price it. Like I said, search for subject matter, like if it's a beach landscape, or you can identify a location and look for other items similar, know what you paid, and get yourself a good profit. And if somebody knows more, then they're going to make more because they know more. Kathy wants to know how long you keep an item in inventory before discounting it.
Before discounting it. So at 3 months, I will move it into a category in my store called special values. And I have a 25% and a 50%. And I do that so that I'm not putting all my freshly listed stuff on sale right away. So at 3 months, it goes into 25%. At 6 months, it goes into 50% because I got those margins built in and I want to clear it and move it, except if it's something like super special. But then that way I just run a constant markdown sale on those categories so that I always have something on sale to pull people in.
I wish I was as organized as you. I just sort of kind of look, and if I'm really sick of looking at something, I'll discount it. And you know, I learned from Danni, and I also learned from Ryan Roots, Rally Roots, that sometimes raising the price on your item will get them to sell. And what Ryan will do is he'll do a bulk edit, raise everything by $1, and he says it works like a charm. So, you know, bulk edit, raise items by $1 or discount them by $1, you know, play around with it. Just that movement, the activity, you know, you get views and purchases based on activity in the algorithm. So, you know, don't overanalyze it.
Yeah, I'm not that organized, but I wish I was too. That is a solid way to do it.
Thank you, Julian.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm like, that is amazing. You have different categories. That is awesome. I'm with you. If I'm like looking at something, like that has been sitting here forever, I'll go look at it. I'm like, what are the prices this? And I'm like, drop $10. Somebody will buy it. But I also bulk edit. I do that too. Is I'll bulk edit like everything. I do a lot in my store like daily. So a lot of that is also, but like actually discounting something, a heavy amount, is I have to look at it and be like, this thing has been sitting for a while. So I like the
Yeah,
idea
you
that
get
you
sick
do.
of looking at the stuff. Like you bought it, you're excited, and then it's like now it's like, okay, no, it's time for you to go.
6 months later, yeah, you're like, why are you still
Yeah.
sitting here? Like,
Yeah, and I don't discount mine, but like I was saying earlier, I increase how much of a discount I'm giving on the offers depending on how long it's been sitting. I will occasionally look through, but very, very rarely. My main thing is if I get eyes on it and it's been there, I'm going to send them a deal that hopefully they can't pass up and they'll take it and it will be gone. Miss Carla bid on a vintage linen lot, paid 10 for the lot and 24 for shipping. 3 out of 8 were garbage. On linen, is it best not to buy in a lot? And I don't know if other people buy them. I specifically do this a lot. So when it gets to me, I will say what.
So it's the same thing. It goes to the same principle as if you are buying like a storage locker. You don't buy based on the fact that it's a full locker. You buy on what you can see and you know the value of so that you don't lose money. So I don't know how the pictures were laid out and how they, if the pieces that were garbage weren't really shown. So you have to do your bidding on what you can see and value. And then that's how you protect yourself from getting burned.
Right.
Exactly. And hopefully you were able to at least break even on the 5. Yeah. I would imagine so. But yeah, like exactly. It's like a storage locker. It's like a lot of items. You gotta assume that those you can't see are no good.
There's a reason they're not showing them to you.
yeah, 100% what they just said.
So I will say buying linens in lots is my favorite thing to do. And you have to know with an auction that you're going to get damage. That's part of buying from an auction. I will say I probably wouldn't have bought a lot with 8 because I want to see more items in that lot so that if there are damaged ones, there are more to split that cost with. So if those 5 that are good are tablecloths that are worth $20 to $30 a piece, you've still got $100 and you're still making a good profit. So if you sourced good, then those 5 items should still be worth way more than what you paid. If they aren't, then you need to be looking at different kinds of lots. And with handkerchiefs and stuff, most of them, you're only seeing them folded up and they could all have stains. But I still sell hankies stained, not as much as I do if they don't. But I'm assuming they had to be bigger pieces. If there were only 8 and it was $24 for shipping, I'm thinking tablecloths or, something larger. But I would just make sure my throat is like about done, which we're almost done. I would just, like everybody said, bid on what you can see, figure the lowest price. It's hard with auctions. You don't know how much you're going to pay for shipping. But if I'm doing lots, I'm going to have a lot of value in the ones that I'm buying.
And
Julian,
Carla,
will you? Huh?
Sorry, I'm sure she knows this, but sometimes people will pay for damaged linens and make things out of them, make hankies, make pillowcases if they're big tablecloths. So don't immediately discount them just because they have stains and holes, because there's crazy creative stuff that people do with damaged linens.
Yeah, and you might be able to lot up the 3 damage, like Tiffany said, for crafting or something like that. Okay, last question, guys, and we are going to be out of here. Julian, will you read this, please?
Got an antique needlepoint wall art for an estate sale, but it has a bit of water damage just at the top. Would you list it, pointing out the damage, or just try getting it professionally repaired?
Oh, I wouldn't. Well, it's going to depend. Like all of these questions there's no black and white answers in this business. It's going to depend on the item, the item's value, what's the cost to repair, what's the time element to repair. Is it worth it? Is it going to expand your profit margin enough to go through it, or list it with the damage, show it, and get it gone? So it really depends. Are we talking $1,000 item? Or are we talking a $20 item? So, but I generally don't repair, fix, paint, nothing. I list it as is.
I agree absolutely with Danni. And, sometimes somebody might not want it repaired or fixed or changed. So I would sell it, disclosing the damage and saying, if you would like to have it repaired, that is up to you. I am going to list it just as I found it. Because personally, oftentimes I don't mind if things have a little bit of damage. I'm okay with a chip. I'm okay with a crack. I'm okay with things that give the old antique piece, the vintage piece, more character. I love the history. I love knowing that it's been loved and used, and people have enjoyed it enough to where it's gotten a bit damaged. It doesn't bother me in the least. So leave it up to your buyer. They may want to get it repaired. They may not.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It would be like a big, is this going to be, if I get it repaired, is it going to really be that much better? Is there ones that sell that are repaired or pristine for that much more money? It's like grading a card or whatever that they do. Is it grading it worth that weight, worth the money, worth all that stuff? So, but that I personally wouldn't. I would, unless it's going to up it exponentially. I sell everything as I get it. I wipe stuff down with windows.
Yeah, and I would not either. I always just point out the damage. I've never had anything repaired. All right, guys, my eyes are watering. My voice says it's done. Next week we'll have my BFF Dale Flippin' Fiasco along with Steve from Rake and Profit on, guys. So it will be a fun show. Looking forward to that. I'm going to let Miss Danni and Miss Tiffany tell you guys bye. And I'm going to say this. I get comments about me not letting Julian say bye, but Julian's here every week like me. So it's like we're just here, and that's why I'm not ignoring him. So yeah. But here is Danni to tell you guys goodbye.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Great questions tonight. I go live on my channel, The Niche Lady, on Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I also do a live sale on Fridays at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and I start everything at $1. So my audience decides what it's worth and what it sells for. So hope to see some of you there.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Some great questions. The chat was moving like crazy. I really appreciate you being here. I have new YouTube videos every Thursday and every Sunday, and everything you see me purchase at Goodwill, I show in the haul at the end of my video, and those items are available for direct purchase. You just have to email me. It's thriftingvegas.tiffany@gmail.com. And if you watch my old videos and you see something you like, just drop me an email. I may still have it if it's something that you're interested in. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks to Kat and Julian. We really enjoy being on here and hearing all you guys' questions and helping out. And it's just so much fun. Thanks again.
Thank you, guys. We had over 600 in the chat. I appreciate everybody coming out. Again, Tennessee is still open for bunk rooms only. Private rooms are sold out, and we have class-only spots if you want to get your own Airbnb. That's the nurseflipper.bigcartel.com. That is coming up in 4 weeks. And I probably will go grab them out of the car and read my post-camp surveys. I gave everybody them to see what they advised to improve for the next camp or what they thought they would have liked to have seen. So my camp should less, not food. No, they should get better and better as they go along. And I'm not sure when the next one after Tennessee is, but I think it's going to be St. Augustine on the beach. I have a location I like, if it's still available. Some of these I found amazing locations, and then I go to look again and they're gone. I think the owners might sell them, so there's no Airbnb there anymore. But yeah, definitely go to the nurseflipper.bigcartel.com if you're interested in one of the camps. And we will see you again next week with Dale Flippin' Fiasco and Steve from Rake and Profit. Bye, guys.